Today, we're going over the 3 fitness mistakes that we see our patients making and that we want you to avoid. Now, make sure you stick around to the end because we're going to give you the number 1 tip that you can start your fitness journey with today. All right, so at our office, we see a lot of different patients, and we notice when patients are talking to us about themselves and working out, we notice a lot of mistakes that they're making that ends up either hurting themselves or kind of drags them down on their fitness journey. So we want to go over these 3 mistakes and make sure that you aren't making the same one. So with the first one, I'm going to pitch it over to Dr. Agan, and he's going to go over the number 1 with you.
The number 1 thing we need to think about that is a mistake is that individuals go all in too soon. Mm-hmm. And that usually leads to injury because they're trying to break records. And a phrase I always remember you saying was that you can't win state overnight.
We're going to win state.
But
we're not going to win it tonight.
Not in one night. And I remember even in my personal training days, I would tell clients, hey, we're not lifting for a competition anymore. We're training for life, and you're training your mind, your body, your spirit. But yeah, that's the number 1 mistake individuals make, and going to the gym is all in too soon. It's going to lead to injury, especially after the age of 25 when things are fully matured and settled in there. So
yep. And we're seeing this, with this being January, this is a mistake that a lot of people are going to make right now because you just went through all the holidays. Yep. A lot of us are not happy with the choices that we made with drinking, eating, and all those things. The New Year's is a perfect time for us to go, I'm in, I'm ready. Boy, that motivation hits high and you're like, yep, I'm going to do it. And a lot of, and this probably pertains to, it pertains to everyone, but a lot of people that maybe worked out prior and then they're getting back in the gym and they're like, well, I'm going to do the same workout I did 10 years ago. Well, probably not the best idea because your muscles and your bones and all those things, they're not quite ready for that yet.
Exactly. And it's we want to build resiliency in the body long term. So that's just going to take time. Anything good takes time, like we've stated before. But yeah, it's baby steps, and in order to get to the goal you want. And that's a big thing too. What is your goal? Yeah. When you're entering into the gym, because like you said, now's the time that everybody's fired up. They want to burn off those extra calories they put down over the holidays. And that's great. But really look at it as like 6 months at a time, where you want to be in 6 months, and then go and move forward.
Yeah, because we can't let our mind get ahead of our body.
No,
because you are working out your body, not your mind. Your mind's going to tell you, hey, if I'll just go ahead and rep out 10 miles on the treadmill right now, man, that'll make me feel better about myself. But really, it's not, because like we said, you're not going to win it all in one day. And like Dr. Agan's talking about, split up your journey in the kind of phases. Like you can almost kind of do it even like quarters of the year, or halves, like 6 months, because that's really what it's about. You're not going to lose 25 pounds in a week. It's just not going to happen. If you do, you need to consult with your doctor.
Yeah, it's probably not it's probably an unhealthy amount of weight that quick, without a doubt. And it's and we always talk about those little wins. You take it into the first 90 days. This is my goal. And then you get those wins. And I always say it's the 2 weeks to 3 weeks is that belief system.
Yeah.
Is where you have to stick with it for at least 2 to 3 weeks to see any type of change. And once you do see that change, most of the time, man, it's a belief system. It's game over after that if you stay on top of it.
Yep, absolutely. So that's number 1. Number 1 is don't go too hard too quick.
So what would you take it away with number 2?
Yep. So number 2, don't obsess over the numbers. Now, this is something that I've definitely done with myself. My weight fluctuates quite a bit. I don't have one of those builds where I just stay skinny all the time. And really, I can gain weight and it'll kind of go back and forth. So obsessing with the numbers basically leads to a lot of frustration. And that frustration is unnecessary. For a lot of us out there, losing weight is a difficult process. So with those numbers, the number 1 number that most people are going to get frustrated with first or obsess about is your weight.
No doubt.
You're gonna want that weight to go down, and if it doesn't go down quick enough, you start getting frustrated. Now, if you get apps like MyFitnessPal, you can calculate and you can keep up and track every little thing, carbs, proteins, everything, which is really good. But the only problem with that is when you go from 0 and you're trying to get to 5, you're not going to be as disciplined at that point. So you're going to log what you ate or what you drank in there, and it's probably going to go in the red a little bit. Frustrated. So you have to watch obsessing. The numbers are good. A lot of us are analytic people, and numbers really can guide us in the right direction, but it also leads to frustration and a little burnout.
Well, not only that, but if you're working out and you're drinking plenty of water, your weight's going to vary 1 to 3 pounds a day in just water weight. So a lot of, it's like I lost 3 pounds in a week, but that's great if you did, but realistically, it could be more water weight. And that's why it's how you look and how you feel. Yeah. If you really throw away the scale for a while, now it's important because maybe once a month, pull it out. Yeah. But don't obsess over it every day because it's going to change. And then you're going to get frustrated because it's going to be a little heavier. Maybe you drink more water. If you're adding more muscle, that's going to add more density. It's going to add more, again, water weight. So don't worry as much about the scale. But obviously you want to burn more than you consume. Yeah. And if that's an understanding as well, it's like if you're going to overdo it and eat too much, then you need to burn it off almost, the next workout. Yep. In order to, like we said, the last calories in, the first to go.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
It's very, very important. But yeah, that's and numbers are big, but those are those gauges that you can only see in increments and long periods of time.
Yeah. So the numbers are really, especially when you're first starting off, they're probably more important as your journey goes on, not necessarily at the beginning. Because at the beginning, like Dr. Hagen said, it's going to fluctuate. Things are going to fluctuate, and that's okay that it does that.
Yep, 100%.
Yep. All right. So number 3, Dr. Hagen, what you got?
I got gym intimidation. This hits home a little bit to me, but this is, as I have conversations in the office and I talk to individuals outside of the office about training, working out, most, and I can tell you by working at a gym, most revenue generated at a gym is by the members that don't show up. Yeah. And so, it becomes one of those things. I got a gym membership, but I'm intimidated to go. And, I grew up in a, rusty bars, high school gym. It was just like, that's just kind of like the mentality I have when I go to the gym. And I won't lie, like I've since probably the last 5 years accumulated my own gym equipment. I don't have time to talk in the gym. I don't have time to really mess around with anybody that's sitting on their phone on a piece of workout equipment that I want to use.
Bros.
And man, I'll tell you what, it's anymore these days. It's hard. I can see how individuals get intimidated by going to the gym.
Yeah.
You go there and it's, for some reason, the shorts are a lot shorter these days. And
well, it's intimidating on a lot of fronts. People there that are fit, that can be intimidating. People that are, at the gym, and you even see videos on TikTok and all those things of people getting in fights. That doesn't happen at every gym, but that can be intimidating. People just being a little over aggressive, and also people thinking that, I don't want to be part of that mentality. And you don't have to be. Not everybody goes to the gym is throwing weights all on the ground and throwing them off the wall. That's why I think like Planet Fitness is, and everybody knows Planet Fitness. I think it's a great place for a lot of people because it doesn't allow for those things.
Yeah, and there's gyms everywhere, different styles and types. I agree, and it's all depending on what you're looking for. They make gyms that are designed for women's wellness, like that's fantastic. Or just going out in nature and going on a walk and being active is important too. But yeah, I mean, there's gyms for, different strokes for different folks, so to speak. But I will say that the number one, if we dig deep into why individuals don't want to go to the gym, it's confidence and competency. They don't know exactly what they're doing when they get in there. That's going to lead to injury. But the more confident you are due to the competency of what you're doing, you're going to feel better going. Like I remember I was never really blessed with natural size. And I remember going into the high school gyms as an 8th grader feeling really intimidated just because I didn't have that natural strength. Well, I'd work out every night. I do push-ups and sit-ups and work out at night and almost do 2 a days just to keep up. And I hit a certain level to where I felt confident. And I mean, it's just been a part of my life for nearly 20 years now. And what I can tell you is that it's always been there for me. You know what I mean? You're going to go through things in life, and that's why I'm so lit up about this topic, because of how important it really is for mental health to stay active, to stay moving. And it's a long-term play, you know, and it's a fad game because everybody wants everything so quick. But if you really look at the longevity, you see, I want to be that 90-year-old sitting there doing, you know, reverse crunches on a pull-up bar. You know, you see individuals that do that. It's because they kept moving, man. And body muscles don't disintegrate; they just don't activate. Yeah. And so what happens is, over time, you know, due to aging, if you don't move it, you lose it. So just staying active. And that's why it's so important. And we see this with patients that follow through with care plans and that exercise, their outcomes are through the roof.
Yeah.
And it's so vitally important, man.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a perfect segue into, you know, you're talking about being confident and competent and all those things. That moves straight into the number one tip that you can do right now to start moving in that direction. And Dr. Agan's going to take that one away as well.
Yeah, the number one thing is a coach, is some guidance. And if you can't afford a personal trainer, the number one app I recommended that I use myself is Fitbod. And Fitbod will allow you to put your height, your weight, what your goals are. You can punch in the muscle groups you want to work, and it breaks down different workouts for you. If you don't know the names, it shows you a little video. So if you can't, I think a personal trainer somewhere, someone to guide you along the journey. But Fitbod is a great app to use.